Albert Einstein once said, "If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." We will understand exactly what he meant by the end of this episode. Let's start with the two most familiar types. Number 1. Verbal linguistic intelligence. This isn't just an ordinary ability to speak or write. It is the power to bend words, choose the exact vocabulary at the perfect moment, and craft sentences that captivate minds and settle deep within them. Poets, writers, lawyers, and public speakers, they all possess this intelligence to a high degree. Someone with linguistic intelligence learns new languages incredibly fast and can explain a complex idea to a 5-year-old child in a way they completely understand. Since the dawn of the educational system, schools have rewarded this specific type. If you are good with words, you are an outstanding student. But what about the child who cannot express themselves with words because they think in pictures and movement? That child is not stupid. They simply possess a completely different intelligence, which we will discover later. Number 2. Logical mathematical intelligence. This is the most dominant type in the global education system. This is the intelligence of numbers, patterns, and abstract reasoning. If you enjoy solving mathematical puzzles, see cause and effect relationships that others miss, or feel a strange satisfaction when solving a complex equation, you belong in this category. Scientists, engineers, and programmers all rely on this intelligence. For over a century, educational systems thought human intelligence could be reduced to a single number, the IQ test, but in reality it only measures the first two types, logical and linguistic. Modern science, through the multiple intelligences theory developed by psychologist Howard Gardner, proved that the human mind is much more complex and that we possess at least 9 different types of intelligence. And here lies the great illusion. Because society could only measure two types and put them into a score, they became the official intelligence, and every student who didn't excel in them felt inadequate. But that student actually belongs to the following types, which are often more important and impactful. Number 3. Visual spatial intelligence. This is the intelligence of images, space, and direction. It is the ability to visualize objects in three-dimensional space, mentally rotate them, and manipulate them as if they were right in front of your eyes. People with this intelligence think in pictures, not words. If you ask them for directions, they won't say turn right. They will literally draw a map in the air with their hands. Architects, sculptors, pilots, and game designers are all visual geniuses. The tragedy is that school never gives this intelligence the credit it deserves. The child who draws all the time is labeled distracted or unserious. But 20 years later, this distracted child is the one designing the phone in your hand or the city you live in. But here is the question: what about the child who can't even sit in a chair because they just want to move and play? And that brings us to number 4, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This is the intelligence of the body, balance, and neuromuscular coordination. It is the ability to use your body to express an idea, solve a problem, or create something. Professional athletes and dancers possess this intelligence to a high degree. A person with kinesthetic intelligence learns by doing, not by reading, and their body knows the solution before their mind does. Number 5. Musical rhythmic intelligence. This type is independent from the rest, and it is amazing in its uniqueness. It is the ability to distinguish tones, rhythms, and pitches. Someone with this intelligence hears what others do not. They instantly catch a false note, remember melodies after hearing them just once, and often have perfect pitch, allowing them to name a note without any reference. Musicians, composers, and sound engineers all belong to this category. Number 6. Naturalist ecological intelligence. It is the instinctive ability to read the surrounding environment, understand living systems, and distinguish between hundreds of types of plants and animals. They can identify bird species by their calls, plants by their leaves, and clouds by their shapes. You might think this type is limited to farmers or biologists, but it is much deeper than that. In ancient times, this intelligence was the only line between life and death. Those who didn't know which fruits were toxic and which were nutritious died. Now we leave behind the types tied to the physical world and enter the most dangerous and impactful intelligences in real life. Number 7. Interpersonal intelligence. This is the intelligence of communication, understanding others, and picking up on their unspoken emotions. A person with this intelligence walks into a room and instantly knows who is angry, who is anxious, and who holds the real power. They can adapt to any personality, and they know exactly when to speak and when to stay silent. Natural-born leaders, professional negotiators, and top-tier salespeople all have this intelligence, and this specific intelligence is one of the greatest predictors of success in the real world, even more than the IQ itself. Let's move to number 8, which is the exact opposite of the previous one, intrapersonal intelligence. This is the intelligence of self-knowledge, understanding your inner depths, and being deeply aware of your own emotions and thoughts. A person with this intelligence knows why they were angry yesterday, why they feel anxious today, and what true passion drives them. Philosophers, mystics, and writers who dive deep into the human soul possess this intelligence. In a world full of external noise, this intelligence is a lifeline. A person who knows themselves deeply cannot be easily manipulated, bought by the media, or crushed by societal pressure. Number 9. And finally, the most rare and controversial type, existential intelligence. This is the intelligence of the big questions. Why are we here? What happens after death? What is the meaning of life? Does the universe have a purpose? Gardner didn't include this intelligence in his original list, but he debated adding it for years. And it is not exclusive to professional philosophers. Anyone who has sat under the stars at night and felt the awe of the cosmos, or questioned the meaning of their suffering, or realized how tiny they are in the face of time possesses this intelligence. While the rest of humanity is busy making money and building relationships, the person with existential intelligence stands back to look at the big picture of the universe. Their mind is wired to ask terrifying and massive questions, and they are never satisfied with superficial or ready-made answers. This intelligence can be a blessing that makes its owner an inspiring wise figure for generations, or it can be a curse that traps them in nihilism and existential depression. And now the question is, did you understand what Einstein meant? Which of these types do you possess? The truth you must take away from this episode is that no normal human being possesses only one intelligence. We are all a unique and complex mix of these 9 levels. The educational system chose only 2 and focused on them, leaving the other 7 to chance, hobby, or neglect. The person they described to you in school as having average intelligence might have carried within them a musical genius, a deep philosopher, or a natural social leader, but they were never given the chance to discover that. Science says that the human brain has amazing neuroplasticity, which means you can develop any of these intelligences through practice and training. Your task now, go down to the comments and tell me, which of these 9 intelligences did you feel was talking about you personally? And if you think you understand your mind now, just wait. There are hidden psychological traps that deceive even the smartest people. We will explain all these topics in upcoming episodes. Therefore, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss out. Stay safe and stay curious. You are watching Zikipedia. See you next time.